There's so many words.
Pam said she didn't know what to say about me. Are we on? Okay. Pam said she didn't know what to say about me, but she probably only says that to my face. You know, well, you know, first of all, how many people in here, this is the first time? Wow, look at that. Look at that. How many of you will come back? All right, there we go. Good, 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 good. Okay, before we do anything, I would like to introduce 6 people. Our board, our executive board, is 7 people, and my board, they're the ones that really put this show on. So if I could have the board members stand up. Now, there's one other guy who used to be on the board. He decided he wanted off the board, but I don't know how I did it, but I talked him into coming back and doing a lot of the website stuff for us. That guy's name is Roy Edgar. And Roy, I tell you, Roy and I have lunch every Monday and Friday together, and we talk about the club, about the website, and you know, Roy has been invaluable to us. So, thanks, Roy. Okay. We had 148 cars today. And when we were parking downtown, it's the smoothest I've ever seen it run. You know, it was great. After 20 years, we may have learned how to do it. So, anyway, today we had 424 rides for charity. Okay? At $10 a ride, you know, that's considerable money. And we offered pre-registration next year to the guy who did the most runs, and it was so close that we have decided to give 2 of them. Dan Sorrell. Also known as Dan 54. He has the number 54 on his car, and he also gave 54 rides. Frank Winship. Frank, where are you? Where's Frank? All right. What we decided to do, since they were so close together, and towards the end of it, we actually ran out of people wanting to go for a ride. So, maybe they just didn't want to ride with Frank. I don't know. But anyway, since it's so close, we've decided to give Frank free registration for next year also. But you have to come next year. You can't carry it over. We had a cookie contest, and it was pretty unanimous on who won. There was only one entry. So, Libby? And she saved 4 for me, so thanks, Libby. Yeah. Dave Smith came up to me today, or I was walking past there, and he told me something that he had at Dave, do you want to tell this? I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Dave had T-shirts and hats, older ones, and he sold those. T-shirts were 20. T-shirts were 20. Hats were 10 or 15. And he's donated all that money to us through to cystic fibrosis through us. He had, I think it was $470. Less than drinking money. Yeah. And I asked him how much of that cut was mine, and he said none. So, I really want to welcome all of you people here. We see some old friends, not really old, but I mean, yeah. Well, some of them are. Hopefully we've made some new friends, you people that have come the first time, and it's always good to see you come back. It's great. So we'll look forward to you. We got your pictures. We know who you are. Yeah. And how many drivers gave rides today? The chief of police gave me a stack of speeding tickets to hand out to all you people. So, a few years ago, several years ago, Actually, I want to read something first. We have a friend in the Cobra Club by the name of Nick Zion. Nick, are you here? Okay. Is it okay if I read this? Okay. They gave me this. He gave me this note earlier, and I really wanted to read it to everybody. He says, "Hey George, this is just a thank you tribute to you and your officers and board members. Because of all the hard work, the club has been blessed with the ability to give so much to cystic fibrosis. It makes me happy to see the club and show flourish. I also want to thank all the Cobra owners and families to make this happen. I would like a standing ovation for all here. They are special people. Thanks, Nick." So, Nick, I'm going to hang on to this. Nick, when did you join the club? 2004. So he's been around that long. Yeah. Oh, Nick has a special place in our hearts. He ran a repair shop for cars, and anybody had trouble, Nick was there to help him. And so we really appreciate that. Now his son, Adam, is the one that's doing our video. And okay. I don't understand this. Roy bought, Ken Walker gave me this, okay? And it's got the notes on the back of it. You know, actually it was Sean. I almost saved you, Sean. He's got Roy bought tick. Oh, that's right, for the winner of the cookie contest. So, you sure? I thought I saw something on there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, a few years ago, I'd always heard about the Texas Cobra Club, and you know, it was a good club run by good people, and I decided I wanted to take a raffle car down there to their meet and meet the people. And because of that, the two clubs have kind of grown together, but Ken Walker with the Texas Cobra Club, he seems to do everything down there. So, Ken, come up here and give us your...
Well, Thanks, George. I really appreciate it. It's my 6th or 7th or 25th time to be here. I'm not real sure.
Remember, it's not that far.
And remember, it's not that far.
Yeah.
So, well, I do have a little bit of a bone to pick with the Ohio Cobra Club. If you look up here on the screen, I'm starting this off with permission versus forgiveness. Several months ago, I got a phone call from George, and he said, Ken, I think I need to ask for forgiveness or maybe permission. I'm not sure. I said, what's going on? He said, well, this year we're giving away a hurricane. I said, yeah. He goes, and it's red. I said, yeah. He said, do you recognize that car? I said, yeah. I took that picture in 2008. He said, do we have your permission to use it? And I said, well, I'd be honored and blessed. And he said, good, because it went to the printers 3 weeks ago. So there's the 2008. But luckily, you guys aren't giving away my car because it says not actual raffle car on there. So I'm much appreciated that the Ohio Club allowed me to keep my own car to do this. But I'd like to talk a little bit about Texas and the Texas Cobra Club. So some of y'all have seen this presentation before. There's a lot of you that are new, so don't talk to your friends about this. So just a few interesting facts about this. If you live in Austin and you want to go to California, half of your ride is going over to Texas. Half of your ride is still in Texas. So from Austin to El Paso, it's 577, and from El Paso to the edge of California is 554. So it's a little bit of a drive to get there, but it's all there in Austin. There's the Google Maps that prove out my numbers. So you don't think I'm lying and everything's bigger in Texas. Well, it is. So a few other interesting facts. We have a state mascot in Texas. So everyone, it's the armadillo, okay? We have a state flower. It looks a lot like an armadillo. We have a state tree, and it looks a little bit like an armadillo. And we have a state dog. No, it's a dog. Not really, it's an armadillo. So it's just things happen down there. Does it ever snow in Central Texas? Sometimes it looks like this. That's the license plate on my truck. Other times it looks like this. This is Snowmageddon that happened this year. And we got 9 inches, and I know that's nothing for you guys, but that was hell for us. So right there, Snowmageddon is what they referred to it as. So I want to talk a little about the Texas Cobra Club. Our next event is going to be March 29th through April 2nd next year. San Marcos, Texas, about 30 miles south of Austin. So I'd like to say, how many people in here have been to the Texas Cobra Club meet? Woo! Thank you for coming. So, and just to show there's a little bit of reciprocation, how many people from Texas are in this room? Raise your hand. So, so there's the north of the border cartel right over on that side. So anyway, so we have it at Embassy Suites Hotel. Looks similar to this. Big giant parking lot allows us to park all the trailers. Like I said, it's about 30 miles south of Austin. It's a pretty good time. There are thousands of miles of Texas hill countries you can ride over. Some of them are paved, not all of them, if you want to do that. You have the opportunity to see the Texas bluebonnets in full bloom every year. This is like waves of this purplish blue out through the valleys and the cactus. You can hang out with some old friends. Anybody recognize some of you people? Evidence. That's what this is. So a little bit of old friends. If you don't want to hang out with your old friends, if you don't want to hang out with your old friends, you can maybe make some new friends. I don't know, or maybe not. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's okay. You don't have to make any friends. That we have a Harris Hill Raceways around the corner from the hotel. It's a little road course that we go out, and you get a little track time if you choose to do so. It's not mandatory, but I've seen some of you drive, so I would appreciate you expanding on your driving skills a little bit. There are winery tours. These people are smiling because their glasses are empty. So Texas barbecue is on every corner, and we have hundreds of them, and even the worst ones are pretty good there. We've started a thing for Thursday is movie night. We got a big projection screen, and some people sit in their cars like there's the drive-in, and watch movies, and it's all car-related stuff, of course. Friday night is a tailgate party, and it's a hamburger cookout, and we serve about 450 people, and it's just a lot of fun. Think of the Texas Cobra Club Spring Meet as a 4-day-long tailgate party. The cars do not sit still. We don't have a show. We call it a meet, and the cars are constantly moving around. So through the hill country, or they're just everywhere. They're like ants scattering all over the place. Saturday night we have a banquet very similar to this, and every once in a while we have a guest speaker or two show up. This next year, Dave Friedman is going to join us, and we've gotten a real good deal on his new book, and so we're pre-ordering that and going to have an autograph party with Dave this coming year. This is why everybody wants me to show up. Tito's handmade vodka. One. Somehow we've had a joining of the big toe with the Tito's place, and they will donate some product to our event. Now, our event usually happens 2 or 3 weeks after a big music festival called South by Southwest, and so Tito's is a big sponsor of that, and they give us all the swag that's left over. Ponchos, hats, T-shirts, bottle openers, dog leashes, whatever it is, we usually get that. And then, mysteriously, their other product shows up. 15 to 20 cases of Tito's vodka. Excuse me, that's Tito's handmade vodka. That's 2. But as we start to plan for the Texas Cobra Club, Tito's handmade vodka also has to prepare for us. That's 3. I would like to show you something that I found. This is not made up. This is legit. Tito's handmade vodka is now traded publicly on the stock market. And I want to show you something. If you can look up at the very top, this is dated June 18th. This is last weekend. And you can see the growth from January of this year as their stock price increased. I want to show you something. That's when the Texas Cobra Club Spring Meet registration opened. Okay? Okay, I'm just saying. That is when the spring meet happened. You're welcome, Tito's handmade vodka. Okay, I have fulfilled my contractual obligation. But I'm just saying, you're welcome, Tito. We put another $1 billion in your pocket. I'm okay with that. So, getting Cobra drivers to park the way you need them to park is very hard. You've seen that today. You've witnessed it today. So the only time we can get them to park in straight lines is when they have little white lines to park beside. This is last year, so they're fairly straight there. A couple years ago, they got really confused. We got confused, and this is what our parking lot ended up like. So that's our 20th anniversary. And then I said, wait, guys, can we do better? And we didn't have any lines, so the next year we did the Texas Cobra TCC for that. And then this last year, we got a little wonky and decided, well, can we make it any better? And so we spelled the word Cobra with our stuff. So if you look at it and you hold your hands up just right, going from Ohio to Austin is only about that far. So and as our slogan is, it's really not that far. We want you there. It's not very far. On the screen down here, it's only like that much. It's okay. It's not that far. So I appreciate that. The Texas Cobra Club is a social group. We're not 501(c)(3). We don't have officers. We don't have bylaws. Our event is more like a family reunion, or more like a dysfunctional family reunion. That's the way it really works out. We never intended our event to really be a charitable fundraiser. Bless the Ohio group and cystic fibrosis, but we have a lot of activities at our event, such as we sell raffle tickets, and guess what we give away? Tito's handmade vodka. And we also have silent auctions that Tito signs guitars and stuff like that, and we have artwork and books, and people donate a lot of stuff. So we end up with a little extra money at the end, and due to our tax structure, we have to get rid of that. We cannot draw interest or anything like that. So earlier this year, a couple weekends ago, the Shelby America had their big event in Dallas, and we were able to present them for a check for $2,600 to go through the Carroll Shelby Foundation to go to the Northeast Texas Community College, where that's the Carroll Shelby Tech School. That's where they're teaching, so it's all earmarked to go there. So that's me, and Aaron Shelby is there. And I would like to do the same. I have another check for $2,600 to go to the Ohio Cobra Club to buy next year's car. So that's this, and we will do that. So that is this. And because we are a giving group, this bottle of Tito's has been autographed by a very famous person. Wait, crap, I forgot to do that. Hang on. Okay, now it's been autographed by a very famous person. And I would like to auction this off right now. Can I get 50 bucks? 100 right here. Anyone else? Anyone else? $100 goes right there. 200 right here. 200 going right here. I'm not an auctioneer. You have to split it with somebody, I guess. So, all right, 200 to the Tito's family right here. So, all right, that is payable to the Ohio Cobra Club. So just to kind of repeat, our next event is going to be March 29th or April 2nd down in Texas. Hotel registration will open up online in a few weeks, and then registration for the event itself will happen down after the first of the year. But I want to thank you for the time. Thank you for the opportunity to share our story. And I hope I was a good enough opening act for Karen and Stacy tonight. So that works for me. Picture here. We'll get a picture of this. You got it? Got one. Karen's got one. We got a couple. Okay. We'll get some more. So, all right.
Not put the check back.
No, I was going to put it back in the envelope.
Oh, okay.
So I just put it back in here. So where do you want it? You want to give it today?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get it today. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
It is a lot of fun to go to the Texas Cobra meet, and it really isn't that far. 1,286 miles from Columbus. So that's not very far. You can do that on 3 tanks of fuel. So now we have cystic fibrosis is normally here, but they're on a do not travel list. And so we have a video from Fran, what's Fran's last name? Huh? Kayla? Yeah, Fran Kayla. I don't know what her title is with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, but she's in Chicago and kind of a area or regional manager. So she sent us a video of improvements and what's happening in cystic fibrosis. So, Adam, you ready for that?
Hi, everyone. My name is Fran Kaya, and I work for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. I'm speaking on behalf of everyone at my organization, along with my friend and colleague, Leslie Lucas, the executive director of our Central Ohio chapter. She and I are so proud to work with the Ohio Cobra Club, a very special group of individuals. They have spread so much awareness and raised so much money over the years. You might not know, but in just over 20 years, this wonderful group has raised over $1.5 million in support of our mission. I wish I could be there with you in person, but the best I could do was to send this video, and wanted to congratulate you, thank you, and highlight a few of our achievements. Despite the pandemic, we've really been able to make remarkable progress even in 2020. Just to set the stage, more than 30,000 people are living with cystic fibrosis in the United States. More than 1,500 of them are in the state of Ohio. And there are more than 70,000 people with CF worldwide. About 1,000 new cases are diagnosed every year, and there is no cure. Today, more than half of all people with CF are over 18, which means they are adults, and the average life expectancy is now over 44 years. But no one should have to live with the burden of this disease. We at the Foundation, and I think all of you, are driven by a dream that every person with cystic fibrosis will have the chance to live a long, healthy life. With your help, we're leading the way in the fight against this disease and fueling extraordinarily medical and scientific progress. You're a part of the CF community. We are working by your side to do this, and together we have funded the development of more than a dozen treatments for CF. 4 of these include therapies that treat the underlying cause of the disease. One of them is called Trikafta and was approved at the end of 2019. Trikafta is a highly effective therapy that treats the underlying cause for specific mutations, and I am so thrilled to tell you that just 2.5 weeks ago, the FDA approved the expansion of this approval to kids ages 6 to 11. That adds another 1,500 people to the list of folks who can benefit from Trikafta. So I hope you will give yourselves a round of applause. This is an extraordinary achievement. Despite this progress, many people with CF do not benefit from the therapies I've just mentioned. That's due to their specific mutations or if their disease is in a very advanced stage. Our vision is for every person with CF to live a life free of burden of this disease, and we won't leave a single person behind. Genetic-based therapies are our best hope for a cure, and those involve things like gene editing and gene therapy. Along those lines, we announced our path to a cure at the end of 2019, and we are prepared to invest up to $500 million to fund any science that holds a promise to end this disease. We know this will be the most challenging work and our most costly work to date, but we're very excited about it. And even in 2020, we had researchers from all over the country and world step forward to ask us if their area of research and expertise fits into our agenda. So we do think this is the path to a cure, and we're so excited to have you be part of our progress. None of this progress I've told you about could be possible without the Ohio Cobra Club and all of you. So thank you, and I truly hope to be with you in person next year. Bye.
Just a note, if you didn't know, all of our money is directed to research with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So it goes directly to Bethesda, Maryland. Started doing it that way. A couple times they've tried to change it, but we won't change it because we want it to go to research. Yeah. Okay. We had Joe Coddington booked as a speaker, a widow of Boyd Coddington, but she has a problem with her neck that they ask her not to travel. So we had to scramble, and we got Karen Savaggio. Karen is really not a step down from Joe. So Karen, if you want to come up.
Thank you, George. I stand before you. Undoubtedly, there's so many lucky people in this room that we get to do this, right? I mean, it's like amazing that we get to do this. But I, beyond a doubt, am the luckiest person on the planet. I actually have a connection to cystic fibrosis and obviously to Cobra. Some of you have read about all this stuff I do with cars and racing. But honestly, you know what they say, if you want to make $1 million in racing, you start with 3, because that's all you're going to have left. It's a big dark hole. So my real life, I spent 25 years in public education, all the way from substitute teacher, and I retired as a superintendent of schools. I gave my life to public education on that side professionally. And I was also lucky enough to serve as director of special education, and I will tell you that we get to work with the kids and the families who have the greatest challenges there is. And let's face it, it's a tough life out there right now. But when you're struggling with health, when you're struggling with finances, when you're struggling with the things that are closest to your heart or your kids, there is nothing better than what happens with what you do here. So for me to be here, I'm thankful. I'm very thankful. So I know that we have a video. Thank you. You know what, Adam? I love you. Yeah. You're amazing. So anyway, thank you for what you do for CF. I know Jenny. I know Dave. There's so many kids and families that you're making a difference for, and it really matters. So I'm going to hopefully, I don't know why I don't have screen 1, but I'm actually local. I grew up in Pittsburgh. A lot of people. Yeah, you know, when I was growing up, Flashdance was like, I was going to be her. I was going to be Jennifer Beal, you know. Anyway, when I grew up, it didn't quite look like that, though, because I was born in 1956. I want to thank, I'm going to tell you about Frank Winship. Frank Winship, first day I get here, I'm like, dude, I have got to find a post office. He's like, why the hell do you have to find a post office? I'm like, I have my very first Medicare premium that I need to get mailed. And I have got to get it in the mail by like the 25th. So, dude, God bless you, Frank. You took me, and we got to the post office. I want to also thank Gary Bob. I have some great photos, Gary, later for our adventures. But Gary came and picked me up at the airport because I flew in. I live in, wait. Okay, you put down the spears and the torches. I live in California. I'm so sorry. I grew up there, though, so my heart is there. There are actually some sane people out there on the left coast, so don't think it's totally gone. We just happen to be not on the majority. But really, like we do believe in personal responsibility, and there's some good stuff we could talk about. But I grew up very, very middle class. My grandfather was a steel worker, and you know, we come from just good old solid, work your butt off, Eastern European ethic, you know, like you just get out there and work. So, anyway, when I was growing up, okay, there is a gene that lives in, a lot of you guys have it, and some of you girls have it too. Where's Mary? Mary, you have the same gene. It's the car gene, right? Like, there are gearhead girls out here. We don't really recognize you, but quite frankly, some of us just dig cars. I was a car nut. When I was a kid, I had a high-rise handlebar, Huffy bike. I didn't have a Schwinn because we couldn't afford it, but we had the Huffy from Kmart. You know, it was awesome. And I would ride that bike. I set up an autocross on my street. My neighbors hated me, thought I was crazy. I'd put paint cans in the street. You know, they thought I was nuts. But I knew one day, even when I was 6, I was like, I'm gonna do this. And what introduced me to cars was that guy right there. His name was Jim McKay. And he was with Wide World of Sports, which was the thrill of victory and? Right. That skier, man. That poor guy, he died every week on Saturday. We watched that guy die. But I knew one day I didn't know how I was going to do it. We didn't have any money. I couldn't afford to go to school. But I knew I wanted to go to college. So I decided, as I was watching TV, I watched Sebring, because ABC Wide World of Sports brought all this to me. I lived in Pittsburgh. I was in a rural place out in the middle of nowhere. But I saw people like Alan Grant and Bob Bondurant, and you name them all, and Carroll Shelby, and the whole thing, and watching them race Sebring when all that water was coming in. And, we watched that live, and we watched the Holy Grail of all, Le Mans, right? Like, they took us there. They also took us to Talladega and lots of Daytona and all this stuff, and I was like, I'm going to do this. My brothers were out playing football, but quite frankly, on Saturday afternoon, my mom's like, what the hell are you doing? What's wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. I have the car gene. I want to be out there. So I knew I was going to do it. So I couldn't afford to go to school. This is me. And Ken, I'm stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas because I joined the military in 1976. I was like, they will give me the GI Bill, and I can go to school. How many of you want 4 years? I'm in. But I was a gearhead. So I knew how to turn wrenches, and they're like, yeah, you ever hear of Title IX? Okay, so Title IX had recently passed in 1976, and they were trying to find women that had some clue about how to turn a wrench. And like anybody that was a warm body and they could turn a wrench and kind of got it, they're like, do you want to be a mechanic? I'm like, will I get the GI Bill? Yeah. I was like, I don't care, sign me up. So next thing I know, I'm working on planes. Not only did I work on, and by the way, George Dalton, Mr. SR-71, okay, I worked on the tankers that were in support of SR-71s originally. But after that, I worked on B-52s. I was a crew chief on B-52s for like 6 years. I had no idea what I was doing going in. Next thing I know, they're like, here's the logbook, do the things. And I'm like, I'm happy. Anyway, it was a great career. I stayed in 9 years, but in 1985, they came out with a use it or lose it for the GI Bill, or you had to use this other thing. I'm like, I'm really digging it, and they're sending me to Okinawa, and I'm going to the Philippines, I'm flying all over, but I got out. Hopefully this will change. While I was in, one of my crew chief friends on Saturday afternoon said, hey, I have a stock car, and I'm racing dirt track at Merced. I was in California, I was in Central Valley. He's like, do you want a stock car race? And I was like, I'll come down and help you. Next thing I know, I'm in a car, that's my first race car, that's me. That's me and my daughter and my husband. It was a total, do you know what a POS is? This was a POS of all POSs. It was a 1970 Olds Cutlass 442 that a guy literally had, and this sounds so Shelby-like, but it literally was on a chicken ranch in Dos Palos, California. I went out and picked the thing up, hauled it home. It was my holy grail, happiest race car I ever owned. I was like, I have a race car. I had no idea what I'm doing. And you know what they say, Richard Branson, okay? One of his famous sayings is, if you don't know what you're doing and you really want to go do it and somebody offers you, you just say, yeah, and then go figure it out. You don't have to know I had no idea what I was doing. It was a shit show, believe me. Look at me. We didn't know what we were doing, but what I knew was I had a race car. And I was out there doing what everybody dreamed of doing. So later on, my friend, T.C. McNett, this is crazy. He's like, hey, you want to go wheel-to-wheel racing? And at this point, I'm talking way fast forward. I'm now turning 50. I'm 49 years old. I've been doing all this other crazy stuff. He's like, why don't we go back wheel-to-wheel racing? And he brings me that damn DVD, that FFR DVD, throws it on the dash of my car. It's all your fault. He brings me this DVD, and he's like, we can get Cobras. I was like, really? Like, isn't that like $1 million? Like, they're like a lot of money. And he's like, no, we can like build them ourselves. So my friend TC totally turned me on to these. And he actually bought one at Barrett Jackson in Phoenix. He brought it home. And okay, so I'm 5'3". He's like 6'2". He couldn't fit in the car. He was like, Karen, you gotta come over and drive this car. It's in my driveway. And I'm like, really? Now? He goes, yeah, and I can't fit it. And I'm like, I'm in. So I drove his car before he did. This car, actually, I found in Grassroots Motorsports magazine. It was owned by Tim Sharp. Yeah, Tim Sharp, God bless you, Tim. He was the editor, one of the editors of Grassroots at the time. And I think it was a collaboration between Factory 5 and Grassroots and Gordon Levy, probably. They had built it and raced it for a year. Spencer won the West Coast Championship with it, and then they just threw it up for sale. That car was $27,000. And I was like, and this was like 2005, and the stock market was going crap, and my 403 was like going to crap. So I told my husband, I'm like, I'm pulling money out. He's like, no, you're not doing that. I'm like, yeah, I am. And on my 49th, turning to 50th birthday, I drove to Phoenix, and I gave Tim Sharp $27,000, and I brought that thing home. And I still have it today. I love that car. Love that car. Now, let's see. Can I make it work again? Or maybe Adam can make it work again. Adam, you back there? I don't know. Adam, can you bring a screen up for us? All right. Okay, so I raced that car for like a year. And it was just way too nice to race because I'm telling you, this is wheel to wheel. This is not like time trials. It's not like autocross. This is like they kick your ass and throw you into the dirt. I was like, this car is too nice. So I bought a second car. And this is the car I raced for the longest time in the series. And it was in the Challenge Series. And that's my husband, Andy. God rest him. He passed away in 2011. My heart and my soul. This guy, we were great partners. And we did well with that car. But, yeah, I mean, he was amazing, amazing guy. So we went on. This is a Cobra bash that we actually went and rented. Okay, here's the deal. I had been racing, prior to this, I had been racing Corvettes. My husband was a Corvette guy. Any of you, and I love Corvettes. I have some in the garage, and it's great. But I will tell you, Corvettes make everybody look good. You can get in them and you drive, and they've got the geometry. But our cars, they are tail happy, they are nasty, and you can't drive them like you can. So I got in this car, and I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I got this. Shit, I was off the track. I'm like in the ditch, and I'm like, I suck. This is bad. So what I did, because what most people will do when they start driving one of our cars and they want to go fast is they'll blame horsepower, they're going to blame the competition is cheating, all this other crap. But guess what? You suck is what it is. You have to figure it out. And you got to humble yourself, put your ego aside, and go, this is a, 85, 90-inch wheelbase, tail happy, horsepower happy, total spring rate with 15-inch. I mean, you're going around anytime you get loose. On a Corvette, if you get loose in a Corvette, you just add more power and unwind it. This, if you get loose, you're gone, right? Anybody? Who's ever spun out? Anybody? Yeah, see? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So what I did was I decided that, you know what, Karen, you can whine about the competition, you can say all the things you want to say, or you can get your ass to work. So I put myself to work. And I went to the track. In 1 year, I did, I kid you not, 200 track events. I took work off. Of course, people are like, where's she going? I'm like, I'm at the track. I went to Phoenix. Rented Thunder Hill, put on track events, but I put myself in the seat every single chance I could get. And guess what? I got better. And I learned from people, and I put my ego aside. So, oh, by the way, I learned from this guy. Does anybody ever hear of Lynn Park? Mr. Cobra? That's my favorite picture of him. That's at Willow Springs. He puts on events there. I went to every Willow Springs event. I asked every Cobra driver I could find. I made friends with Alan Grant. I made friends with anybody who could find. Help me, help me, help me. And this is me at Mid-Ohio in 2008. And I started doing endurance racing. Because if you really want to learn how to drive a car, go sit in it for 3 hours at night in the rain. You'll learn how to drive a car. Guaranteed. This is us in my Cobra, nighttime. I also started doing events with other people. I put myself in any car I could find. And this was Team Diva Speed with Donna Gilio and Lori Fernandez and Shay Holbrook back in whatever, it was like 2007, 8. This was my garage. I didn't have a big shop. This is TC, my husband Andy, and some of you might know Ed Boothman. Ed Boothman would come out to my house and stay for weeks, and we would hang out. And this is me. I'm coming home. I was a principal at the time. I just got done at work, and I come home, and honest to God, Ed Boothman and Andy, they weren't even working on it. You know what? They had a TV in the garage, and you know what they were doing? They're watching Dancing with the Stars. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, what the hell? All this stuff's going on? Yeah. I love Ed Boothman. This was out at Miller Motorsports Park, and some of you might know Mark Doherty. Mark Doherty made a big difference in my life. Mark Doherty was there for us at the 25. Factory 5 fielded a team. We teamed up. We partnered. I've done the 25 hours 9 times, 7 times with my own team. And I tell you, you get really good when you're doing these big endurance races. You learn how to do logistics and deal with all kinds of stuff. It was just total fun. Well, so finally, this is my grandson. I finally won a championship because I was like, you cannot suck forever. And this was my first championship, and my grandson was probably, I think he was right around 2. And this is one of my favorite pictures ever. This is a button willow in like November of. But then I decided I really want to play with coupes. If you are a Daytona coupe fan, I am. I'm an addict. And I just switched to coupes. And they're amazing. That's the car we call affectionately the Warrior Queen. We did a ton of endurance racing with that car. It was, we're talking real deal stuff. We've had all kinds of things happen. But I'm super lucky. And we have 25 people. If I called them right now and asked them if they'd want to come, they're all volunteers. You want to come out? And yeah, they're all there. Because they want to do something that's even bigger than themselves. They're like, yeah, I want to be part of that. I want to do it. It's super cool. If you ever get a chance, this is just part of them. It's just, I am the luckiest person. All these people came there on their own dime. It was awful. That was the year it rained, mud, awful. We had so many wrecks. Cars came in on the hook, torn apart, and we finished. And we finished well. We did great. So, and in 2011, we actually won the Endurance Racing Championship with that car, with that team. And they were just, I'm so grateful to those people. They gave everything. It was really awesome. And then I got to have fun at the Valley of the Fire. I know, Dave, sorry to embarrass you. I have had, our cars, all of you know this, our cars bring so much joy to us. If you are not out there driving your car and enjoying it, I don't even know why you even have it. So let's get out there and go. Honestly, I'm like, all my cars are just road warriors. But one year at SEMA, Dave asked me if I'd bring my car up kind of like as a backup. And we were out doing, I talked to Honey Badger today. This is the coldest he's ever been. It was November, whatever. And we were out in the Nevada desert, and we needed to be there at 4:30 in the morning. It was like frosty, and it was a Hot Rod Magazine shoot, and we took all the cars out there, and we had a blast. It was great. It was awesome. I've got to meet Peter Brock. He's become a good friend. He totally digs the fact that we're doing, the racing thing. He is really still involved. Him and Craig Breedlove, they're building a 1,000-mile-an-hour car. It's like amazing. He is an amazing man. I'm humbled to even say I know him, quite frankly. And this is one of my favorite pictures. This is him. And by the way, those of you who are LS haters, Peter Brock has an LS in his Daytona coupe. I'm sorry, I'll just leave it at that, okay? It's what he runs. Sorry, it's true. But I'm going down the corkscrew at Laguna Seca at the 2012 Rolex, and he's right next to me giving me the thumbs up. I'm like, okay, I've arrived. I don't even have to live anymore. I'll just take a last breath right now. It's pretty good. And then I figured out that I don't really want to do this wheel-to-wheel sprint racing anymore. It's pretty tough. And at my age, I'm now getting Medicare. I started doing endurance racing. Not endurance racing, vintage racing. So 4 years ago, I was able to secure one of the prototypes of the Gen 3 R model coupes, and that's what I race now. So this is my current race car. I'll be racing in Seattle next weekend with the vintage people. Have any of you ever heard of Old Yeller or Old Yeller 2? Okay, well, Ernie Nagamatsu and Jimmy Shine any of you even know who those are. Ernie owns he's coming up. And so I'm pitting right with them, which is going to be super cool. And this is my car a couple years ago at Pacific. But I just want to leave you with this, and I'll try to go through this quickly. I know you're like done with this probably, but in 2018, because people started doing stories on there, like, you're really weird, I'd like to do a story on you, you know? So Driving Line called me, and they just did an interview with me on the phone. And then they published this article. And when it came out, they titled it, Cars Are Good for People. And I'm like, where did they come up with this? And then I got thinking about it. And the truth is, I say it all the time. Cars are our cars, and cars in general are good for people. I have talked to so many people. Dave's really honored me with letting me go to SEMA every year for many years. And I talked to so many people. We're at a car show. Guys and girls that are like 50, 60, 70 years old, and they're talking about their car, they're 16 again. And their eyes light up, and they just have this zest for life. Or maybe they've been a veteran somewhere, and they're really suffering from PTSD or a loss of a family member. They can go out and their car is part of their heart. And I truly believe that cars are good for people. Our cars are good for people. If you were out there today and you watched those charity rides, cars are good for people. If you saw those faces, and some of you were good enough to do that, I've gotten active with SEMA, promoting women. I was very lucky to do a show on Detroit Muscle. We built a wonderful car, a little 427. It was awesome. And Joe Coddington really is my sister from another mister, and Sherilyn Westridge, and they're really awesome. Nan Gelhard, she's like the head of marketing for Summit. She's like a total gearhead. These are all friends. This is my friend Arlene Gregerson driving my car in the middle of Utah. And then I take my car everywhere I can and I put kids in it. And I hope you do the same thing. I always say opportunity really dances, because people go, you're so lucky. I'm like, well, yeah, but I've been out there doing it, and you're doing it. So all these things I've gotten to do, Bogey Latiner, All Girls Garage, we built a wonderful truck with her. I mean, it's like amazing. Shift Up Now, this is a group that I've helped mentor. We do Girl Scout stuff. This is my SEMA sisters, you know, Marla Moore and Teresa Contreras, and God rest her, Jessie Combs. Some of you anybody know who Jessie Combs is or was? Yeah. Like, come on. She's amazing. I got to be with my friend Marissa Campbell, DeRosa Campbell, and Chip Foose restyled her Superformance. And by the way, I know most of you know I'm a Factory 5 person. It's what I can afford, and they're awesome, and they drive like nothing. I mean, it's like amazing. But honestly, there's so many. I'm non-denominational about our cars. I love them all. I'm sorry, if I win that Hurricane, you trust me, I'm gonna be happy. So I got to go to the Indy 500 with, Lynn St. James, and there's Jessie, and I mean, it's just amazing. I've gotten to do so many things. This was a picture, that's Jessie, and that's me and Tegan Hammond, and this is at Indian Speedway. It's like one of my favorite pictures ever. I've gotten to do all this stuff. I got to actually sit in Dick Smith's car. I mean, that's like holy grail right there, sorry. I mean, all this stuff has happened, but it's really all about the people. And like, I would go back. These are my cars now. Just quickly tell you, I have herded cattle in Wyoming. Any of you active on the forums, like any of the forums? The forums are the greatest connector. And before we had some of this other stuff, I was always on the forums, and I got hooked up with the Utah Cobra Club, and I started doing adventures with them. These are pictures from us last week. And we went to Bryce Canyon. We did almost 800 miles out in the Utah, Netherlands. And I was able to take, that little boy you saw in the picture? He's 13 now. And I took him with me on our very first run. This is Bryce Canyon, and this is him. And he went with me. It's like so cool. I'm like, this is like awesome. These are my friends, Roy and Arlene Gregerson from Utah. This is us. This is us. Yeah, this is us at Fish Lake at 10,000 feet, and we were at Bryce. I mean, it's like amazing. So I just want to leave you with this. The keys to a happier life. Do things for others. Give back. Connect with people. Take care of your body. Live life mindfully. Know what you're doing. Think about your purpose in life. Keep learning new things, because always that's just so good. Direction, have goals. Have something every day to get up for. Find ways to bounce back when crap happens, right? Craps happen. Anybody have stuff happen? I could tell you stories, you know. Some of you know them, okay? Look for what's good. Eliminate negativity in your life if you can. Really be comfortable with who you are, own who you are, and step forward every day. Be part of something bigger than yourself, and that's what you're doing. And I'm so proud to be part of this amazing group. And as my friend Jessie would say in the end, and God bless her, if she hadn't gone and done what she was doing when she, was taken from us, she would have regretted it. She was doing what she loved. So I say to you, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Karen. Karen stepped in at the last minute for us, and we really appreciate it. So, okay. The next guy that is a speaker, I'm sure all of you have known or have seen on TV. Builds some really nice customs and gives really nice information. Stacy David. Stacy has, I got to tell you a story about Stacy. I'd been trying to get him to come to the Cobra show. He agreed to come last year. Of course, we all know what happened to the Cobra show. Stacy, when I called him and told him that we had to cancel, would you consider coming next year? He said, absolutely. Next year is this year. So we have Stacy. We're so happy to have him. His lovely wife, Catherine. And let's give Stacy a hand when he comes up here.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here. What do you want me to do with this plate here, George? You want me to just toss that thing?
Yeah, I've got to save that, or maybe toss it to the crowd.
All right, how awesome would it be to have a principal like that? That is so awesome, man. I think mine drove a Pinto. It's like, that's the kind of principal I had. Just shut up and quit doing this stuff in the hallway. Get away from my Pinto. All right. You guys are probably wondering, what is a car guy, doing at a Shelby event? Well, there's actually some very interesting connections that I have to Shelby and the Cobras. In 1923, January 11th, Carol Shelby was born. Exactly 40 years later, January 11th, 1963, I was born. That's weird. Obviously, we're both big car guys, and we both have girls' names. So, I don't know what Carol's parents were thinking, but I've talked to mine a lot about that. Yeah, I got to switch with Joe Coddington. That would be cool. Joe David. Okay. Anyway, there's a lot more than that. But first, let me go into a little bit of background here. In '98, I started doing a show called Trucks. And the idea behind Trucks was to teach people how to do stuff. It was a how-to show, and nobody was really doing anything like that at the time. And part of the magic of that, at first they wanted Trucks to be kind of like a car and driver show, where we test drove new trucks and bolted on tonneau covers and that kind of thing. Fortunately, they left me alone and let me do some crazy stuff. And I started chopping tops and doing some stuff that had never been on TV before. And that opened the door for a whole world of automotive how-to stuff, which then went into Monster Garage and overhauling and all that stuff. Now, the difference was we did a show that was a how-to show because it was about showing people how to do stuff. The reality show, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother conversation. We won't get into that. But we've always tried to keep it as a how-to show because it's important to show people how to do stuff. And so that was the approach of Trucks. And after doing that for 7 years, it became obvious. I was in the music industry for a long time. And I learned one thing, that if you don't have ownership of something, eventually somebody's going to walk in and say, thank you, you're fired. Or thank you, the show was canceled, or whatever it is. And so I knew that somewhere down the line, I had to do something where I had ownership of what I was doing. And so we started Gears. And my wife and I went out on a limb, and we started our own production company. And we started doing Gears, which is now in its 15th season. Thank you. And we've got a 200th episode coming up at the end of this season. Some of you might be on that because we have been rolling some footage. So that would be a fun thing. Frank. Yeah. He took my wife for a ride today. I haven't heard her scream like that for years. So, yeah, we need to talk afterwards. Yeah. She already posted it. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, Frank. Yeah, thanks. I guess I need to get a Cobra, don't I? All right. Yeah. All right. A lot of people ask, how do you stay on the air that long? What's the secret? And it's pretty simple. First of all, an understanding wife or understanding family or whoever's supporting you. Catherine and I have been together 28 years. Yes. And it hasn't always been that easy. We had a show one time we were doing, and yes. We were at some show somewhere, and this is right when Monster Garage was out. So Jesse James was over it at another booth. And he had a bunch of centerfolds in his booth signing pictures. Pictures. And so Catherine is there with me, and I look over there, and there's a couple of dudes standing by her, and they got their calendars, and they're all shaky. And they're like, now, are you Miss March, or are you Miss February? And she's looking around, and I'm like, oh, you guys need to step away. She's from Kentucky, and she'll pull out a knife and she will cleave your head, trust me. And I'm tired of burying the bodies, so get out of here. And that actually happened, so she was like, yeah. So she has been able to go out to the shows. We've had a great relationship together. We have 2 daughters, and one of them is actually her favorite car, she says, is a Cobra. So, yeah. I just need to teach her how to drive a stick. Yes. Yeah. But like I said, one of the biggest things on all of the shows, my biggest approach, I was a big Bruce Lee fan. Everybody remember Bruce Lee? He was the guy. And the thing about Bruce Lee is that he taught people the secrets. He taught people the things that nobody else would teach. And that was my approach. It was like, because when I was growing up, working in shops, guys were real secretive about some of the secrets. I'd go, how do you TIG weld? And they're like, you're a stupid kid. You go sweep the floor. I'm like, I'm a stupid kid. Teach me how. And I had to keep on them. And I realized a lot of these guys were real secretive about some of these skills. And I'm like, it shouldn't be that way. And so my approach has always been to show people how to do stuff. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And I even tell them, it's like, some of this is rocket science. We're using math, we're using geometry. If I can do it, you can do it. And I want to encourage people, because this is such a great industry. And the more people that get involved, the more people keep it going. And the more fun. And I have never seen a group of people that have as much fun as you guys. I've been to Street Rod Nats, I've been to SEMA, I've been to all these things. You guys are crazy. And it's awesome. I mean, seriously, it is awesome. Yeah. You know, one of the things that, getting back into my influences and the Cobra itself, one thing I try to tell people is don't ever underestimate your influence on somebody. This is my own story. Okay, I was about 10 years old, and I was working in a shop for a guy who was just a brilliant fabricator, and I was just sponging knowledge out of this guy. His name was Jim Williamson, had gone to school with my dad. And he walks in one day, you know, and everything Jim said was like it, because he was, I mean, he could do things with metal, and he really enlightened me about what you could do as a fabricator. And he throws down a brochure for an Arntz Cobra. You remember those? ARNTZ, one of the early replicas. And I'm like, what is that? That car was so awesome. And he's like, well, you know, you can build this car if you put a 351 Cleveland in, it'll do 180 miles an hour. And I still remember the thing, and I'm like, an Arntz Cobra. I want an Arntz Cobra. That's what I thought the car was. Okay, so now fast forward 5, 6 years, I'm in junior high. And I go out with some friends. There was the movie theater on the outside of town, you know, the movie theater. That was a drive-in movie theater that showed the B-grade movies that your parents wouldn't let you see. Like Dirty Harry and, you know, the R-rated stuff and the Pom-Pom Girls and, you know, those kind of things. And I went out there with my friends one night, and there was a movie playing called The Gumball Rally. They were looking for TNA. I was looking at Cobras. And I'm like, there's the Arntz Cobra. And it's the first time I saw the car in action. And if you haven't seen the movie, you got to watch it. Because it's like 2 hours of just Cobra and Ferrari with a little bit of Camaro thrown in. And it absolutely changed the way I looked at cars. I was a Cobra nut from then on. Still thought it was an Arntz Cobra. Didn't know anything about, I didn't know who Carroll Shelby was, never heard of him at that point. Now fast forward into college. In my first year of college, I'm wasting time in the library because I don't really know what I want to do. I was a musician, and I loved cars, and I'm in college. So I'm skipping classes, and I'm spending time reading automotive books in the library. And this is where I'm getting my automotive background. Come to find out, I use it all the time when I write historical pieces and that kind of thing. Now, in the library, there was the automotive books, and then right beside that was the history and natural history and animal books. And sometimes they got mixed up. So I'm sitting there reading books, and I come to this one called The Cobra Story. I'm like, oh, it's about snakes. I like snakes. I'll read this book. I open it up, and has anybody read The Cobra Story? Carroll Shelby's book? Are you familiar with it? If you're not, you gotta read it. Because it was an autobiography that was written by Carroll in the 60s about the Cobra, the GT40, the whole thing, and all of a sudden, it all came together. It's not the Arntz Cobra, it's the Shelby Cobra. And at that point, I knew what I wanted to do. I dropped out of college. I became a professional musician, and I started building cars for a living. And everything that you've seen from then, from the TV shows I've done for 22 years, all the vehicles I've built, everything to the moment that I'm standing right here is based off of that influence of that book and those people, Carroll Shelby. So, don't underestimate the influence that you have on somebody. And I got a chance to meet Carroll just before he died, just in passing, but I did get a chance to meet him. And I never got a chance to really to talk to him because at that point, you know, he was surrounded at SEMA by people and stuff all the time. But at least I got a chance to meet him. And really, he wanted to talk about chili, which I tried some of his chili one time. Whoa. Yeah, it's like his cars. It was hot. Woo. But anyway, you know, I say that to say that I'm not the only one that was influenced by him and his cars. You guys. Everybody in this room was influenced the same way as I was, or you wouldn't be here. And that parking lot would not be full of these cars. And if you haven't noticed, you're not the most normal people. You know, seriously, think about the car. Big side pipes and stripes and loud and nasty and everything about it is like exactly what people should be. But everybody forgets. And it's like, I keep telling people, it's like if you take the spice that's in this room out, we're really boring. You know, and it's like we need to have more of that magic out there, people that are willing to do that. Because if you go in the parking lot, most cars are black, white, or silver, which is gray, which is a combination of black and white. All the great colors are not, you know, they're on the 60s muscle cars or on your Cobras. And I want to encourage you guys, be that different. You know, embrace that. And you really don't need any pushing to do that, because I'm sitting there watching you guys ripping these cars. It was a great experience. And I really want to push the rest of the hot rod world to do what I saw today. Because most of those guys get out and look at their cars. You guys drive them. And it is really a unique deal. Very. And it has not been an easy path, because I was there when the kit car kind of started. The kit car. The kit car. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about with the bad fit. Remember the Gazelles? Yeah, the little Mercedes-looking Gazelle had the Volkswagen motor in the back and the fiber fab stuff, and yeah. And the fittings that looked like they came from the hardware store. Yeah, it was a dark era. And the thing is, it was really hard to go from that. There's still people that kind of look at a kit car as not a real car. And for you guys that are just getting into this, it wasn't maybe 10 years ago that people still would go, so is that a fake? Yeah. Now listen, you put your heart and soul into a car, the last thing you want anybody to say is it a fake. That's fighting words. And, well, seriously, but people didn't understand because they were thinking about the old nasty stuff. And there's so much that we have to be thankful for this industry, for the manufacturers, you know, the Hurricanes and the Factory 5s and the Superformances that have brought these cars up to the level they are. Has anybody spent any time in an original Cobra? Not a nice experience, is it? Yeah. Yeah. You might as well lay on a bed of nails. Yeah. Yeah. Compared to what's out there now and what you guys are driving today, it's fantastic stuff. And it is slowly, just like in the street rod world, eventually people started to go, you know, it doesn't matter if the cars are fiberglass instead of steel. It doesn't matter if they're a replica or not. They're a Cobra. And I don't know if you guys realize just how unique that is. People see your car and they say, that's a Cobra. You know, that's not, the muscle car world still doesn't have that yet. That's not a CUDA. That's just a Barracuda. You know, and seriously, you guys know what I'm talking about. So this industry is very special. And that has come through you guys working hard and manufacturers building the products that make these cars possible. So I encourage you, man, keep moving forward with that. Because I can't tell you how many young people that I saw and came up to me today going, I want a Cobra. And I'm talking, these are Fast and Furious generation guys. The street rod world can't get those guys. They're trying. But what's happened is the street rod world has gotten really expensive, and Grandpa's got the 32 Ford out there, and he doesn't want anybody to touch it. Where you guys are like, right in the car, Frank. You know? But I love that. I had an uncle like Frank, man. Hey, here's a $100 bill on the desk, son, so you can pick that thing up. Yeah. Yeah, he also did the pull my finger thing. Now, tell me you didn't do that. All right, all right. Anyway, I just want to end up with telling you guys that, you know, we look at Carroll Shelby, we look at Bob Bondurant, and you look at Ken Miles and these legends, and it's easy to look at them as legends, and they are, but you guys need to realize that you are part of that legend now, and you are carrying it forward, and you are part of that. And the more you dig into that, the more influence you're going to have as this thing goes forward. Because it's gotten bigger than this. I look at this like Beatlemania. It got bigger than the Beatles. You know, when Jimi Hendrix set his guitar on fire, that got bigger than Jimi Hendrix ever was. And when Carroll Shelby built the Cobra, this thing has gone far beyond what Carroll dreamed. And you guys have that now. You guys are carrying that. So I want to encourage you guys to keep moving forward with that. And once again, encourage these young people to get out there, do something, teach them to build something with their hands, because there's nothing like that. And remember that you never know who is watching. There's always somebody watching you. Now you may think, oh, look at me. Nobody cares what Listen, there's always somebody watching you. There's always somebody watching what you're doing, how you're reacting, how you're handling things, what kind of car you drive, all that kind of stuff. I encourage you, show them something good. Thank you. Thank you. Out of here now?
Great. How about that guy, huh? I started thinking about getting Stacy here, and then somehow, and I don't even remember how I ended up with his cell phone. And we happened to be in Las Vegas for SEMA. And I called him up and said, how'd you like to go get something to eat? We went out and, you know, we talked about this show. And I think by the end of the meal, he was sold. Yeah, so great. Stacy, thank you. Thank you again. One thing I'd like to say is Gina, is it Gina? Huh? Yeah, Gina Hendrick. Okay. Gina Hendrick, and she's with the Kentucky Cobra Club. She donated 30 Cobra snake keychains to be sold, and that brought in $300. So, yeah. So it, you know, every dollar helps. And I do a lot of car shows. I love doing car shows. Sometimes you work 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I won't lie about it. There's been times when I've said, you know, what am I doing? You know, why am I doing this? And then some kid will walk up to you and say, I want to shake your hand and thank you because I have cystic fibrosis. It gets you, you know. It does get you. So with that, Dave Friedman, his photography studio was going to send some pictures to be auctioned off. And we have those pictures on the video. And he said that you can either pick one of those, or you can go on the website and pick whatever you want, and he'll ship it directly to you. He's going to, yeah, probably signed. Probably signed.
We have an auctioneer, a guy.
We do?
Yes.
Oh, great. Get him up here.
Craig Caldwell is going to be our auctioneer. He's one of our attendees here at the show. Me and Dave talked to him about
Yeah.
it, so.
Before that happens, I would really like to thank David Smith and Factory 5. The car that we donated last year was a beautiful Factory 5. Dave donated the car. Jeff Kleiner painted the car. So that, and with COVID canceling all the car shows, I guess people were bored sitting in front of their computers. They just ordered tickets and ordered tickets. And we were able to donate $267,000 last year. So, Dave, thank you. For those of you that don't know Dave or know his family, he does have a daughter that has cystic fibrosis. And more than once, Dave's come up to me and said, "You've saved my daughter's life." So, Dave, we really appreciate what you do. Now, this year's raffle car was donated from Hurricane Motorsports out of Lake City, Iowa. Yeah, out of Lake City, Iowa. They're a much smaller company, but it's a beautiful car. We wanted it painted red and white because red cars sell tickets. I can't, they do. We really thank Hurricane, Shell Valley, Backdraft, Factory 5, Superformance. Without those companies, we couldn't do what we do today. So a big shout out to all those companies. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Craig, and we're going to auction off 2 pictures from Friedman. And like I said, you could either pick one of the pictures that we have, or you can go on their website and pick a picture. No, there'll be 2 separate. There'll be 2 separate. And these are really good pictures. We had Dave Friedman here about 3 years ago, 2019. And Dave doesn't get around so well, so I loaned him my hover round. The guy loved that thing. But he couldn't drive it. He kept hitting stuff. So But he's a super guy. Super guy. Greg, I'm sorry to keep talking.
It's all right. It's all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The first thing we're going to auction off is this plate. Yep. There you go. Yep. I'm pretty sure Jeff Kleiner can afford to buy this. So, no. Oh, 20. Do I hear 25? Huh? How about 25? I got 20 right here. How about I got 30 from the same guy? How hot is this license plate or paper plate? Huh? I got 30. How about 35? Anybody? 30. I got $50 from Dave Smith. Huh? Who wants a paper plate? I can't find these in any grocery store. Huh? We got 50, right? We got 50 right here. Who? I got 60 right here. $50 for a paper plate. I got $60. Huh? Who'll give me 70? Who'll pay $70 for a paper plate and we'll autograph it for you? Where's the guy from Texas? Can I borrow your Sharpie? Huh? $60. Anybody give me 70? 70 for this one-of-a-kind paper plate. It will not be framed. Okay? $70? 70? Huh? $74. 75. I got 75. Who'll give me 80? How about 80? 80. Anybody give me 80? Give me 80 now. 80. 80 for a paper plate. You could say, I got 80. I got 80 right in front here. $80 for a paper plate. Huh? Karen's out of money, so she's done. Who else? $80. $80? $100? Frank Winship, $100 for cystic fibrosis for this one-of-a-kind. About $2,000 worth, Frank. What do you think? Big spender. I got $100 right now from Frank. Who'll give me 110? 110 for this paper plate? Come on over here, my Pittsburgh friends. How about it? 110. No? No? I got 100 right here with Frank, or are you raising your own bid? 105 up front. 105. I got 105 from Roy right here. How about 110? Who'll give me 110, 110, 110? I got 110 from Larry Love. 120 it's going to take now, big guy. 120? 120? 120 back here? Say yes, Frank. Say yes. Okay. Okay. 120, how about 130? 130, I got 120, 120, he'll give me 130. 130 once, 130 twice. $250 for Dave Smith. So, okay. And everybody knows. Woohoo! All right. Cool. And we're at what? 250, right? 250. How about $300? $300 to this very special plate. You can say you outbid Dave Smith. Okay? We'll put that on the plate. I won. Okay? $300. How about 300? 300, 275. 275 for the paper plate. This is now Ohio Cobra Club lore. 260, Roy. 260, Roy. How about that? 275. Do I hear 275? 275? Okay, let's make it real. How about $289? Who's got 289? There's 289 back here from Pittsburgh. 289, do I hear 300? Do I hear 300? Huh? How about, I'll tell you what. $427. Dave Smith. $427. Let me think. What comes after? Okay, 427. 427. Let's stroke it a little bit. Make it 450. Okay? Come on, 450. 450. Do I have 450? I got 427 right here. 450. 450. 450 once. 450 twice. 427. How are we doing so far? We're doing good. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. These will be in the lobby later for $10. Okay. What did I say? Thank you so much for that warm welcome and a great way to start this auction. We have just a follow-up to what Stacy was talking about, the legacy, the Cobra story. Dave Friedman, as many of you know, started working with Carroll Shelby in 1963. He was employed by Carroll Shelby. He had access to the workshops, to the travel, to the races, to the people that nobody else had. This wasn't some jamoke with an Instamatic camera hanging over the guardrail at some racetrack someplace. This was a guy that lived and worked with the team. You talk about getting close to the legacy, it's Dave Friedman's work. And when you look at the, can we have some of the images on the screen? Yeah, thank you so much. They're a lot better looking than I am. When you look at these images on the screen, you're buying a piece of Shelby history. So, here's the way it works. You're going to see the digital catalog on the screen. What you're bidding for is a framed print of your choice, matted, double matted, and framed in a hand-assembled wooden frame, painted, hand-painted frame, and a print of your choice on special archival paper that's good for 200 years. Okay? This is a special piece of artwork. And you think we can get Dave to maybe sign them? Yeah. Can't promise that, but it's a really good chance. Yeah, they're okay? Really good chance. And you get to pick, and the good news is your bid includes shipping to your home. So if you're driving your Cobra here and you've got no room in the car to take a print home, that's okay. You can still bid. All right? So, very special piece of artwork. He'll start me off at $1,000 to pick their favorite Dave Friedman print. How about $1,000? Anybody $1,000 to get going? How about $500? Let's do $500. How about, we got 500 in the back. I got 500 back here. How about 600? Do I hear 6? I got 5, give me 6. I got 5, give me 6. I got 5, give me 6. Who'll pay 600? $500 back here. Back in the back, I got another 600. Thank you, my lovely assistant up front here. Andy is helping me. Appreciate that. 600 in the back, who'll pay 7? How about $700? Pick your very own Dave Friedman print. I got Karen Salvaggio for $700. Who'll pay me 8? $800. Who's in at 800? $800. $800 in the back. We got $800 for the first pick of a Dave Friedman print. I got 800 once. I got 800. How about 9? Who'll pay 9? Do I have $900? Lighten up a little bit. How about $850? Who'll pay $850? $850 to have this in your garage, your man cave, or ask the wife and put it in your living room. Okay? That's what I would do because I'm the boss at my house. Is that right? Never mind. $850. So I have 800 right now. $850. Who'll pay $850? $850 once, $850 twice, $850. Sold $800 in the back room. Okay, one more. You're sure? One more. So there's only one more. Only one more. Let me tell you a story. 1979, I'm a sales manager at a Mercedes-Benz dealership. The lady calls and says she's settling an estate. Would we be interested in buying their 1972 Pantera? I asked the used car manager, do you want to go look at this thing called a D Tomato Pantera, whatever it is? He said, well, I don't know. We're a Mercedes dealer. We sell German cars, but let's go look at it. So we drive up into central Pennsylvania, above Tyrone, PA, right? We drive up above Tyrone. We look at this Pantera. How much do you want for it? I want $13,000 for this car. This is a 10,000 original mile bright yellow Pantera. Used car manager says, I don't know, 13 grand. Boy, that's a lot of money. I said, we got to buy this car. He says, well, if you like it so much, Craig, you buy it. Well, at the time, before children, I had two 66 GT350s and a Formula V race car. I was pretty sure I couldn't get 13 grand out of my lovely wife. So I had to pass. I missed that opportunity. Don't you miss an opportunity to buy a Dave Friedman print. Dave's an older gentleman. We love him to pieces. We hope he's with us for 100 more years. But maybe not. Now's your chance. Okay? So now we're again, same deal as before. You pick from the Dave Friedman catalog the print of your choice, printed on archival paper, professionally matted and framed by his associates, and shipped directly to your house. Okay? So the last one we were at 800, all right? So we know this one's worth 1,000. Who'll start me at $1,000? Can I hear $1,000 one time on a Dave Friedman print? $1,000 to get me started? No? Okay, we'll play the game again. How about $500? $500? Frank, where are you? 500, you were in before. Come on, $500? Do I hear 5? I hear 500 over here. How about 6? I got 5. Who'll give me 6? Who'll give me 6? I got 600 over here. Who'll give me 7? I got 7 over on this side of the room. How about 8? How about 8? I got 7. Who'll give me 8? I got 7. Who'll give me 8? I got 7. Who'll give me 8? I got 7. How about 750? How about 750? I got 7. Who'll give me 750? 750 once? 750 twice? Sold $700. Thank you. My apologies, sir. I just got excited. And your name is? Rob Burke? Burton. My lovely assistant will come over and get your information. Thank you all very much for supporting a great cause. What? One more. Canadian visitor that you want to auction off. All of a sudden, I'm a slave trader. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you, or Jeff Kleiner brings us, Terry the Canadian. You want to tell us about?
Tell us about it, Kleiner. Let's go. Come on.
Okay, yeah, Karen knows too.
Go ahead, come on.
Okay. Our dear friend Terry couldn't make it this year due to this whole COVID thing.
Okay,
and
you know,
Canadian
the
border
border's
issue.
kind of closed.
Terry's
He
been-
would be here.
He's been with us for years. We've adopted him.
$5 connects, $2. Sorry.
Yep. So since Terry couldn't make it this year, we
Right.
brought Flat Terry, and he's been everywhere with us. He's been along all weekend.
All weekend long, we've had him
if
everywhere.
we can sell a paper plate for $500, surely we can get $1 or $2 for a
$1
flat
or
Canadian.
$2 for Terry the Canadian.
Or more. So, can we open the bidding at?
Tech wants it. $5.
Well, no. See, that's the thing. This is
That's
American.
like 50 cents.
This is American dollars. We've got Frank Winship out here. All right, Karen. We gotta get some photos of him up here on the
I'm
block.
working on
So,
it right now.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
we'll turn it over to Craig.
So we're talking American money now, okay? And here's Terry, suitable for framing, okay? Or the flag's included, gang, okay? So you know he's south of, or north of the border, yeah, okay? Right here,
Terry, A.
okay? And we got Terry, and I heard a bid of $50 right there.
Oh, right there.
50 back here. Henry's going 50.
Henry is 50. I got 50 once. How about 100? Who'll do $100 for a Canadian? I got $100 here. How about 150? 150, 150. I need 150. I got 110. 110. Henry, you cheapskate. 110. How about, well, let's go back to 150. I got 110 from the cheapskate. How about 150? 150. Who'll pay 150 for their very own Canadian? Huh?
Where's Smith at? Get him back in here.
He's buying us drinks right now. He's at
Hey,
the bar.
Smith, what are
He's
you
at the
doing?
bar. Oh, hi, Dave. Okay, 150. He waved. 150. Okay, how about 160? 160. Oh, well, no, we're not doing dollars.
No.
160 with Henry Renaud back here in the room. Hi, Dave. Okay, I got 170 with Dave Smith. He's so easy. Okay, I got 170. How about 180? How about 180? 180? 175 back here. How about 180? 180, I got 175, 180, 180, 180. Come on, who'll give me 180? 180, you get your very own pet Canadian. Come on, put them in the front window, scare the burglars away. I got $200 back here. I got $200 back here. 200, 200. How about 250? Do I have 250?
Henry, just wait till he finds out you own him.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to sell them to Henry, and then we'll call this guy and sell it back to him, right? Okay, so we're at 200, right? American money, no Florida stuff. Okay.
Or Canadian.
$200. How about 250? Do I have 250? 200? I got 250. Give me 250. 250. 250. We're looking at $200 once, $200 twice. I got $250 up front here. How about $300? I got $250 up front here from this good-looking gentleman at the front table. $250 I got here. How about $300? $300. I need $300. It's only $300. Okay? This is your chance. I got $300 back there. Henry, I got 300. How about 350? 350? 350? 350? I got $300 going once, going twice.
Wait.
I'm already there. $300, right? Sold. Henry Renault.
We need to let him know he's going to Florida.
And I thank you to my family. If any of you want to see him later, he'll be under the Napa tent. Come to the Napa tent. That's where we all party. You're all welcome.
You know, when I was thinking the vendors earlier, I forgot Formicar, and I apologize for forgetting Formicar. Formicar has done a lot for us, and it is appreciated. Okay, still got a stack of plates up here. Okay. This is something we look forward to every year. The check presentation to cystic fibrosis. And since cystic fibrosis is not here, we have another person to accept the check. This young lady has been drawing our winning number now for how many years, Emily? Yeah. Except one year she called me and she was upset because she had a chance to go to Africa on a missionary trip, and it turned out to be the same day as the Cobra show. She didn't want us to be upset with her. The following year, I said, nobody's going to be upset with you, but I do have one request. And she said, what's that? I said, next year you give us a report on your trip. And she did incredible. That's on our website. You know, if you ever get a chance to take a look at it, it's on our website. Pardon me? Under the media tab. Yeah. And all right, Emily, Bruce. Can we get the board members up here? Board members? These are the people that do the work. And this is for cystic fibrosis in the amount of $130,000. Not bad after a year of COVID. And you people helped that amount, every one of you. And it is greatly appreciated. Emily, you have anything you want to say?
Gosh, I'm not good on the spot. Hi, I'm Emily. We were talking earlier, we think I've been pulling the ticket for maybe over 15 years. I was little and my dad had to put me inside the winning car to take a picture or hold me up to pull the winning ticket. So I was a little squirt then. Just some updates on me, I guess. I was taking Kalydeco last time I spoke, which was probably 5 years ago. And they switched me to Trikafta, which is what they were talking about, what Fran was talking about on the presentation. And it's been working wonderfully. And just to give you guys a little picture, one of my coworkers that I teach with also has cystic fibrosis, and he didn't get to start Kalydeco when I started in 2012, but now is able to take Trikafta as of 2019 and is doing wonderfully as well. So it's not just me. There's so many faces that you're helping, and you're really changing lives. So I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. So thank you.
Thank you, Emily, stay here. Okay. This is probably the minute that everyone has been waiting for. We're going to draw the winning ticket, and we will call the winner on the phone. Becky, you have to give me the phone. You know, a few years ago, there was this certain guy from Pennsylvania that promised to come to the show. Well, he didn't come to the show. You know what I did? I called him and I said, "Hey, Dan, this is George Dalton with the Ohio Cobra Club." You could hear him start to get excited in his breathing and everything. And I said, "I just wanted to call you and tell you that you did not win the car." And he helps me at the Pittsburgh Car Show every year. And that's how he sells tickets. He goes over and tells them that story. He says, "My buddy over here." So, but, yeah, the great crews at every city I go to, you know. Do we have a total on the tickets sold?
It's going to be about 9,500.
It's going to be, we don't have an exact count, but it's going to be around 9,500. And we haven't been able to do any car shows. Parts shortages everywhere, blamed on COVID. And but we've got a really nice car. I might be a little prejudiced because I have a Hurricane also.
Allegedly.
I've only been building it for 12 years. And it's not done yet. I keep telling my wife, it's a hobby, it's not a project. So we will get there one day. I've had guys threaten to come over and build the car for me, and somebody said, "Why? George would just take it all apart again and put it back together the way he wanted it." So we'll get there. Yeah, his name is John. First name is John. Last name starts with a W. Looks like he is local here in Columbus. So let's go ahead and see if we can give him a call. This was sold online. Probably thinks he's getting a spam call.
Please leave your message for 6149622.
John, this is George Dalton with the Ohio Cobra Club. You need to give me a call at 937. What is my phone number? 937-414-0097. Thank you. Okay. Been a long week, believe me. He's from Columbus. Well, looks like Columbus. It's a 614 area code. So, Columbus area. And it is a maybe we should call him again. I can do that. I have the technology to do that. I can. All right, here we go. Wait. All right. One of these days, the winner's going to be here. I would, no, Dan, it wasn't you. Yeah. So, it really gives me great pleasure. These board members that I'm working with here are really top notch. And I just can't say enough for what they do. You know, Pam is our vice president. Russell's on the board. Mark is our secretary. Dave Poley is our builder extraordinaire. Who am I forgetting? Oh, and Dave Beck. I can't say enough about him. He's our treasurer. And let me tell you, he wants to know where every penny goes. And it needs to be that way. So, again, you know, I want to thank all of you for coming. Oh, yeah, Libby, she's... She bakes excellent cookies. At least that's what they told me. I haven't got to taste them yet. Yeah. Yeah. People, you know, you folks, I just can't thank all of you enough because it is you that makes this possible. And yeah, we work a lot, but we have fun when you come here. And I want to thank everyone for coming.
What about Becky?
Oh yeah, I got to thank the spouses too. They put up with a lot, except for my wife. She never has any problems. You know, so, but you know, they fill in, they help with everything. We had a lot of volunteers this year, and that's great. That makes things go very well. And look forward to next year. We'll be selling tickets for next year on your way out, in case anybody's interested. So, yeah, we don't have a. Well, you're going to embarrass me. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and adjourn before I embarrass myself again or somebody embarrasses me. And again, thanks to everyone for coming. Thanks to Dave for buying the paper plates. I got more here. Anybody wants one? Thanks again, people. We really appreciate it. Yep. Y'all have a good evening. Safe travels home tomorrow. And we'll see you again next year.